Well, here we are. I've actually come to Southampton Ikea. But amazingly, like last time, they've got a few boats in, so let's go over and have a look before we go inside. Ah, puddles! So in a previous life, I used to work for shipping companies. So that's looks like an MSC, that, the one to the right, don't know that. It's got the MSC, Mediterranean Shipping Company, or containers or something like that. There you have it. Wow. There's a big Royal Caribbean. That's a big bugger. Look how many decks there are. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, at least 9 decks on that one. Wow. Amazing. Makes you wonder whether or not they're still parked up. And over there, left of the Holiday Inn, there's a jetty. One of the companies I used to work for used to have an office there, and they did the ocean racing. So it was the division that dealt with all the logistics for ocean racing. The Volvo Round the World Cup, that was it. Let's get it right. There you go. MSC Virtuous. Right, okay, so another trip to Ikea to get some bits. Well, this isn't slightly infuriating. To pick up the bits, you've got to order it on their in-house system. Then they'll pick it up for you, but I can't get through the system to actually order it, so I'm just going to go to the checkout and say I want this, and they'll have to deal with it from the checkout point. Well, gone through the checkout, now collecting the 2 parts that we need from the collection point. Amazingly, you've got all this list, all the collections, but it doesn't tell you, and the woman at the counter didn't tell me what number I am, so I have no clue, and there's no one here. Fantastic. Just need to wait for someone to turn up. Right, next stop for the day. We're taking out the blue van, and we're at B&Q. We're actually after some plywood, see what they've got there to create the walls where the bed's going to go, and the battens for the bed beams. So the courtesy of it's just slightly drizzling. The courtesy to B&Q. Well, me and B&Q trying to make a decision on what wood to get. It's all structural ply I'm looking at, with a different finish. That's softwood and that's hardwood. The prices are the same, but I'm trying to decide whether or not to go for 12mm or go for 18. 18 is rather thick, to say the least, but it's going to give me the rigidity that I'm looking for making around the garage section at the rear, and also supporting the bed. So it's not just going to do it's not just for panelling, so I can put the bed brackets in it, and it's going to be firm and rigid. Okay, right, made a decision. I've got 2 12mm hardwood structural plywood and 2 pieces of aluminium at 30mm. You'll see what I'm going to do. That was kind of a moment of inspiration, what can I say to that. So it nicely fits into the back of the van. Good old transporters for you. it's just one of those DIY situations. So what I'm going to do is cut this. Then I shall take you on a trip to show you where I'm going to put it. Doesn't need to be perfect, so hence the bodginess of my setup. Okay, that blade's just short for getting through. Note to self, don't be a horse's arse. Yeah, the blade's too short, that's why. Apologies for that. It made me jump. Let's try it this way. It's always when you do these jobs you start to remember all the things you ought to be doing, which is kind of like motion detected at the front door, like health and safety, and wearing safety glasses, which I'm not, and safety shoes, which I'm not. Duh. Right, next time. Okay, the idea with these aluminium strips is to do this. So that's the rear panel. So I'm going to feather that to get it to fit nicely, nice and snug. I've got loads of it, so slightly over, so I need to shorten it by a couple of mil, well, about 5 mil or so. Then what will happen is I don't have to worry about that gap. The plywood's gonna sit on the edging. Then when I put the flooring down, the flooring's going to come up across that lip and create a lovely seal. So that's the idea. Let's see how it progresses. Right, I've cut the aluminium strips. They're 30 by 30 mil. So one's gone in there. The other one's gone in there on the floor. And then I have this one here. I'm going to do the other side at some point. Now, the issue I've got here, you can see, it will not go flush to the wall. So I'm going to try with the plywood first to fit it and see whether or not I have to cut it back to this point here so it sits a bit more flush with the panelling. Also, I'm getting a piece, an infill piece to put into there just to finish it off. But I reckon I'm probably going to have to cut it to here, but I'm going to give it a try because the idea is the plies, I want the ply to come up this beam here, come up the edge and fit it. So let's see how it progresses. Okay, what I'm doing here is this is the back panel of the passenger side for the rear. So I've measured it from the sliding door. It's going to go up to the sliding door here, then the wheel arch, and then to the rear. What I've done, I've used the old template, which is we put it in situ. Then I put tape around it to get it to snug to the wheel arch because obviously it's a different shape now. And then what I've done, you can see a pencil line. I've actually gone in by about 1 centimetre, so it gives me some tolerance. Well, finished for the day. Good progress. Did more on the panelling than I was expecting to do, but ran into a couple of challenges in respect to how to mount the brackets for the scorra. Look at that glorious shadow. Yes. Right, there you go. So those 3 panels, 1, 2, 3. So I got the panels cut. So that's good. Tip, if you're going to fit panels, make sure that the labels on the opposite side. But that said, this side of the panel was a lot better than the other side, so you do have to check to see what panels, the condition of the panels before you fit them. And again, what I've done, I think I mentioned it before, I've got the aluminium strips acting as footing, which are 30mm by 30mm, courtesy of B&Qing it, or a DIY as they are. So those panels fit really, really well. I would lift one up, but I'm on my own and I'm trying to film, and they are bloody heavy. So the panels I've used, if you can read that upside down, they're 12mm. The original panels are about 2.4 by 1.12, so really good and solid. But the object of the exercise is they'll be structural, so obviously you need to put the beams across there, then have the beams rung in out. So really pleased. You'll have to cut a few grooves out, but it's definitely a two-person job when you get to this point with putting these in. And here's the score for beams, and the METOD bracket that's going to be screwed into the panel, and the score for beams will clip onto this edge here, courtesy of modelling my foot. So yeah, so hopefully okay. The beautiful sun's out, I would show it to you, but there you go. So yeah, good progress. Reasonably pleased with what I've done, which is good. So yeah, a week of, and obviously getting the roofing done as well, which is quite good. So not bad. So I'm just looking at using T-nuts. Google it. T-nuts, but I need to find the right size ones. I think it's looking like M12s. If you Google T-nuts M12s, to use those, because these holes in the METOD brackets for wall cupboards, kitchen wall cupboards, this is a 6 metre piece, 6 metre, 2 metre piece. These holes are quite big, so ideally I want to be able to put a screw through that, or bolt through that complements the hole, which it's going to be a bit catch-22, because ideally I don't want to put massive washers on the end, but we'll have to wait and see how that progresses. And it's doing things like this. You can see like the end of the footing, the aluminium strips, I've contoured them so they'll fit nicely. So if you can see, because I want them as flat against the panel as possible, based on using the original thought. And this piece here took bloody ages to do, because I had shape it, and that fits in there. So that's going to be glued at some point. So nicely conscious. But again, this whole section here is going to be the kitchen, and with there's going to be a bit of a splashback scenario going on there. And these panels don't go all the way to the end, but I do have a bit of scrap, so I'm going to put the scrap pieces up the side here, which isn't going to be the issue, because it's going to all be underneath the bed in what they call the garage area, so that should be fine. So yeah, getting there. A reasonable week with a bit of progress. So now I need to go back to watching videos on YouTube and drinking my beer and enjoying the roast chicken that I'm currently cooking. Right, have a good one, everybody.